They say if you whisper your wish to the wind, someone might hear it. Eli Jordan should have kept his mouth shut. The city was a heartbeat that never stopped. Tires hissed on wet pavement below, and the hum of streetlights painted the night in gold and static. Eli Jordan sat on the edge of his apartment roof, hoodie soaked from the drizzle, staring at the stars he could barely see. The music in his ears was his unfinished songs recorded on a cracked phone, verses he wrote during coffee breaks and sleepless nights. He was 19. He had a dream, and like most dreams in the city, it was starving. He worked long shifts at a corner cafe, pouring coffee for people who had somewhere to go and someone to be. They'd smile at him, drop a coin in his tip jar, and walk away, chasing their own ambitions while he sat gathering dust. But every night, no matter how tired he was, Eli climbed that fire escape. He'd look out over the skyline and imagine a crowd chanting his name, lights flashing, his voice echoing through arenas. He'd whisper, "One day, someone will hear me." Then, on a night when the air was heavy with rain and regret, he whispered something different, words that would change everything. "I'd give anything for someone to listen." For a moment, silence, then a faint sound behind him. Footsteps. He thought he was alone on that rooftop, but something or someone had been listening. Eli turned. A man stood near the roof access door, tall, sharply dressed in a black coat, his shoes untouched by the rain. He looked out of place, like he belonged to another time. The man carried a small silver case, gleaming even in the dim light. "Beautiful view," the stranger said, his voice smooth and steady. Eli froze. Yeah, didn't hear you come up." "That's because I don't make much noise," the man replied. He stepped closer, eyes calm, almost kind. "I couldn't help but overhear your wish." "My wish?" Eli asked carefully. The stranger nodded. "You said you'd give anything for someone to listen." Eli frowned. "You were eavesdropping?" "Not exactly," the man said with a faint smile. "You called out, and I answered." Now Eli was sure this guy was either insane or dangerous. "Who are you?" "Call me Mr. Vale," the man said, tapping the silver case. "And I'm in the business of dreams." Eli laughed nervously. "Dreams? What are you, a motivational speaker?" "Not quite," Vale said softly. "I deal in dreams the way others deal in currency. Buying, selling, trading." He opened the case. Inside, a glass orb glowed faintly, swirling with light, like moonlight caught in water. Eli's breath caught. "What is that?" "Your first dream," Vale said simply. "The one you had when you were 7. To sing for your father before he left." Eli stiffened. His throat tightened. "How do you know that?" "Because I already own it," Vale said. Eli took a step back. "That's impossible." "Is it?" Vale's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Dreams don't vanish when you stop believing in them, Eli. They go somewhere. They find new owners. I collect them, the abandoned ones." Eli's pulse raced. "You're crazy." "Perhaps," Vale murmured. "But you're the one who said you'd give anything. So tell me, would you sell me one of your dreams in exchange for the world finally hearing your music?" Eli should have walked away, But desperation makes bargains sound like blessings. He thought he'd met a man who believed in his dream. But Mr. Vale didn't believe in dreams. He bought them. The rain grew heavier. Each drop hit the rooftop like a ticking clock, as if time itself was waiting for Eli to answer. Mr. Vale's voice was calm, smooth, like a salesman who'd already closed the deal. Fame, he said, that's what you want, isn't it? For the world to finally hear your voice? Eli hesitated. The word fame tasted sweet and poisonous. He thought of his songs, lost in the endless scroll of the internet, lyrics that no one would ever hear. And for a moment, he let himself imagine what it would feel like to be seen, heard, remembered. Eli swallowed hard. What do you want in return? Vale tilted his head, smiling. A small thing, a dream you no longer need. What does that even mean? Eli asked. Vale stepped closer, opening the silver case again. The glass orb shimmered, filling the space between them with a soft glow. When we're young, we dream freely, Vale said. But as we grow, some dreams die. You can't keep them all. They weigh you down. I simply take the ones you've already given up. Eli frowned. So, you want a dream I don't care about? Vale nodded. Exactly. Think of it as the decluttering your soul. It almost sounded reasonable. Almost. Eli rubbed the back of his neck. And what do I get? Vale smiled. Everything you ever wanted. Attention, recognition, your music, everywhere. Eli let out a shaky laugh. You're insane. Perhaps, Vale said softly. But even insanity can be profitable. Then, with a flick of his wrist, he waved his hand over the orb. And Eli saw something inside it. A flicker of a memory. A small boy sitting in his old room, strumming a toy guitar. His father smiling at him, proud. Then, the door closing, the silence that followed. Eli's eyes filled with tears. How how do you know that? Because that was your first dream, Vale said, and you stopped believing it would ever happen. The moment you gave up, it became mine. Eli's chest ached. He wanted to deny it, but deep down he knew there had been a night he'd stopped believing. Vale closed the case. Now tell me, Eli, are you ready to trade another? Desperation is the easiest currency. All Vale needed was one word. Yes. The rain slowed. The city hummed below. Eli looked at his soaked shoes, then back at Vale. What do I have to do? Vale's smile was small, knowing. Nothing complicated. Just close your eyes and say it. Eli hesitated, then whispered, I'm ready. The wind picked up. The sound of the rain faded, replaced by a low hum, like a melody trapped inside metal. Eli felt a strange warmth on his wrist, then a pulse that beat in rhythm with his heart. Vale's voice echoed, distant and smooth. Then your song begins. When Eli opened his eyes, Vale was gone. The rooftop was empty. Only the silver glow remained faintly burned into his skin, a small music note shining on his wrist. The next morning, Eli woke up to his phone buzzing non-stop. Hundreds of notifications, mentions, comments, shares. His latest upload, a rough track he'd posted weeks ago, had exploded overnight at Eli J Music. This song hits different. Who is this guy? This is pure gold. Next big thing incoming. Eli stared at the numbers on the screen. 300,000 plays. He blinked, thinking it was a glitch, but it wasn't. His follower count was climbing by the second. He dropped his phone, his heart racing. No way. No way this is real. He played the song, but it sounded different, cleaner, sharper, almost as if someone had remastered it professionally overnight. His hands shook. His phone buzzed again. A DM from a verified label account. We need to talk. Call us. Eli laughed, disbelieving, then cried, then laughed again. He'd done it. Somehow, impossibly, he'd made it. But as the day went on, something felt wrong. Every time he tried to hum a new tune, his mind went blank. He'd open his notes app to write lyrics, but the words wouldn't come. His creativity, the spark that had always kept him alive, felt hollow. He ignored it. Who cared? The world finally heard him. That night, the mark on his wrist glowed faintly again. A soft, rhythmic pulse. And miles away, on a high rooftop overlooking the city, Mr. Vale stood in the rain, the silver case open at his feet. Inside, a new orb glowed with swirling golden light. The echo of Eli's traded dream. Vale whispered into the storm. Enjoy it while it lasts, boy. Every song fades eventually. Eli's song had finally been heard, but his silence was just beginning. Every dream has a price, but Eli never asked what it would be. Eli Jordan became an overnight sensation. His phone never stopped buzzing. His DMs filled with offers, record labels, sponsors, interviews, all wanting a piece of the boy whose song came out of nowhere. The internet called him the voice of the streets. Blogs wrote about his raw talents and soulful emotion. Eli should have felt happy. He dreamed of this moment his whole life. But instead, it felt unreal. The fame came too fast, too clean, too perfect. At the cafe, people recognized him instantly. Hey, aren't you that guy from TikTok? Bro, your song saved me, man. They took pictures, handed him napkins to sign. Eli smiled, but his stomach twisted. That night, sitting in his small apartment, he tried to write again. He grabbed his notebook, the one filled with old lyrics, and stared at the empty page. Nothing came. No melodies, no phrases, just silence. Eli rubbed his temples. Come on, you can do this. He strummed his guitar. The chords sounded wrong. Dead. He slammed it down, frustrated. How can I be famous if I can't even create anymore? Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw the faint glow on his wrist, pulsing softly under his skin. He froze. The music note mark shimmered faint, like he was breathing. For a second, he heard something, a whisper, soft and low. The song begins, the dream fades. Eli jumped back, clutching his wrist. The glow dimmed, then vanished. He told himself it was exhaustion. Maybe he was overworked. Maybe he just needed rest. But deep down, a thought began to take root. Had he traded away more than he realized? Fame gave him everything he wanted, except peace. And now, even his own mind didn't sound like his anymore. Weeks passed. Eli moved into a better apartment, bought new clothes, and met with producers. Everywhere he went, people said the same thing. You're a genius, man. Your sound is different. But every new song they released wasn't really his. The producers would send him drafts to approve songs with his name, his voice, his lyrics, except he didn't remember recording them. When he listened closely, his own vocals sounded off, almost mechanical, too smooth, like someone had scraped away the imperfections that made it him. He asked his manager once, "Hey, where did this version come from?" "I didn't." "Relax," his manager cut him off. "You sent it last week. You probably just forgot. You've been working like crazy." Eli laughed it off. But that night, he couldn't sleep. He dreamt of the rooftop again, of Mr. Vale's silver case glowing in the rain. This time, the orb inside wasn't bright and beautiful. It was cracking, and from inside, he could hear faint music, broken, distorted versions of his songs, looping endlessly. He stumbled to his desk, opened his laptop, and checked his stats again. He woke up sweating. His wrist burned like fire. Another song had gone viral. A new one. He hadn't written it. He hadn't even heard it before. But the name under it was his: Eli Jordan. "Fade Away." The lyrics chilled him. "Trade your soul. Let the world see. Dreams are gold until they're empty." He slammed his laptop shut, heart racing. It was a song about him. He ran to the window, looking out over the city. Far in the distance, on a rooftop bathed in lightning, he saw him, Mr. Vale, standing calmly, holding the silver case. And though the city roared around him, Eli could swear he heard his voice, distant, echoing through the wind. "Every success, Eli, is just another trade." Then he vanished. Eli was living his dream and losing pieces of himself to keep it alive. The louder the applause grew, the more he could hear the screams beneath it. Eli Jordan had everything he'd ever wanted: a record deal, sold out shows, millions of followers who called his music life-changing. But lately, it didn't feel like his life anymore. His face was everywhere: billboards, TV ads, playlists. But every time he looked in the mirror, it was like seeing a version of himself that had been rewritten, edited, polished, and packaged for the world. Tonight was his biggest concert, yet 20,000 people screaming his name. He should have been excited. Instead, his hands trembled. The stage manager called, "You're on in 5." Eli nodded, forcing a smile. He slipped in his earpiece, grabbed his mic, and took a deep breath. The lights dimmed. The crowd erupted. "Eli! Eli! Eli!" He stepped onto the stage, the roar hitting him like a wave. The spotlight blinded him, and for a second he couldn't tell if he was performing or being devoured. He began to sing, but halfway through the chorus, something strange happened. The crowd's voices shifted. Beneath the cheering, beneath the claps, there were other sounds: whispers, screams. Voices layered inside the noise, distorted, overlapping, desperate. "Give it back." "My dream. My dream." "You took it?" Eli froze, his voice faltering. The band kept playing, the lights kept flashing, but the words in his ears grew louder, crying, begging, screaming. He ripped out his earpiece. The voices didn't stop. They were coming from the crowd, No, from the music itself. Every note vibrated like a heartbeat, carrying something alive and tormented beneath it. But the voices he heard weren't supposed to exist. Eli stumbled off stage mid-song. The crowd screamed, thinking it was part of the act. Backstage, his manager chased after him. What the hell, Eli? You walked off in the middle of the... Did you hear them? Eli interrupted, panicked. Who? The crowd know the voices. They were screaming. His manager frowned. You're overworked. Take a few days off. You've been pushing too hard. But Eli knew it wasn't exhaustion. Those voices were real, too real. He went home that night and locked himself in his apartment. He opened his laptop and played his live recording. The crowd roared, but beneath it, faintly, he heard it again. Whispers, crying, dozens of voices layered under the song voices that didn't belong there. He boosted the volume, filtered the background. One voice became clear, a woman's voice, trembling and raw. My dream, bring it back. Eli's blood ran cold. He scrubbed through the recording. There were more voices, different accents, different ages, each one repeating variations of the same thing. You took it. He took it. Veil. Eli slammed his laptop shut, shaking. He looked at his wrist. The glowing mark was back, brighter than ever. It pulsed in sync with the faint sound still ringing in his ears. He realized something horrifying. His fame wasn't born from his own dreams. It was built on the stolen ones of others. He collects us through you. He backed away, gasping. No, no, this isn't real. He stumbled into the living room, searching for something, anything, to prove he wasn't losing his mind. His phone lit up. A notification from an unknown number. Mr. Vale. You're doing wonderfully, Eli. The world is listening. Eli froze. The message disappeared before he could reply. He dropped the phone. Outside his window, lightning flashed, and for the briefest moment, he saw a figure standing across the street. A tall man, black coat, silver case, glowing faintly in the rain. Eli thought he'd traded one dream. But now, he realized he'd become the vessel for countless stolen ones. He thought he sold a dream, but what he really sold was his soul's only voice. Eli didn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard them. The voices, whispering through static. His own songs had become haunted. Every melody was threaded with pain that didn't belong to him. When dawn finally broke, it brought no light, just a pale gray glow that made the city look dead. He sat at his kitchen table, staring at the phone. The message from Vale had vanished, but Eli could still feel his presence, like a hand pressed against the back of his mind. He whispered, "What did you do to me?" As if in answer, the lights flickered again, and the doorbell rang. Eli froze. Another ring, then 3 slow knocks. He opened the door, and there he was, Mr. Vale, dry, spotless, as though the storm refused to touch him. The same black coat, the same faint smile, and in his hand, the silver case. "May I come in?" Vale asked politely. Eli didn't answer. He stepped aside. Vale entered like a shadow slipping between walls. He placed the silver case on the table. I've been watching you, he said calmly. You're doing well. The world loves you. Eli's voice cracked. What are you? Some kind of demon? Vale chuckled softly. Oh, I'm much older than that word. He clicked open the case. Inside were rows of glowing orbs, each pulsing faintly like trapped hearts. Eli's stomach twisted. What are those? Dreams, Vale said simply. The ones I've collected. Each one is a life's essence. The thing that makes a person more than flesh and memory. He lifted one orb. Inside it, Eli saw a faint image. A little girl painting a sunset. The color bled into the glass like light through water. She wanted to be an artist, Vale murmured. But her parents told her to be practical. When she gave up, her dream came to me. Eli stared in horror. You're stealing people's souls. I'm giving them peace, Vale said. Dreams can be painful things. You, of all people, should understand that. Eli's hands clenched. You said I'd be heard. You didn't tell me how. You never asked, Vale replied. You just whispered your wish to the wind. And the wind carried it to me. Eli's voice shook. I want out. Take it back. I don't want this anymore. Vale smiled faintly. You can't return what you've already spent. He turned the case toward Eli. Inside, one of the glowing orbs pulsed brighter than the rest. Its light was gold and blue, flickering with music. Eli realized it was his. Your dream, Vale said softly. The one you sold. It fuels the voices, the songs, the fame. Take it away, and it all collapses. Eli reached toward it. The glass shimmered under his fingers. Please. Vale's expression hardened. Be careful, Eli. Without dreams, you are nothing. You exist because people believe in you. And because I do. Eli stepped back, trembling. You're using me to steal from others. Vale tilted his head. I'm using you to remind them what they gave up. Every person who listens to your songs, every soul who weeps at your words, they awaken their old dreams. And when they let go again, he smiled coldly. I collect them. His music wasn't inspiring the world. His music wasn't inspiring the world. It was feeding it to the dark. Eli slammed the case shut. I won't be your puppet anymore. Vale sighed. Defiance is beautiful, but temporary. Eli backed toward the door. I'll tell the world. I'll expose you. Vale looked almost amused. You think they'll believe you? The pop icon who talks to ghosts? Eli hesitated. Vale's voice was calm, but heavy, like gravity itself. Every artist burns for their dream, Eli, Vale said. You were simply the first to make the right bargain. Eli's voice broke. Then let me make another. Vale raised a brow. I want their dreams back, Eli said. All of them. Take mine, but let them go. Vale paused. You'd give up everything. Your fame, your life, your music. For people you've never met? Eli swallowed hard. I'd rather die with my soul than live on borrowed ones. For the first time, Vale looked unsettled. He studied Eli for a long, quiet moment, then closed the case with a soft click. So be it, Vale whispered. But remember, a dream once sold cannot return whole. He stepped forward, placing a single cold hand on Eli's chest. Eli gasped. Light burst from his skin, flickering like fireflies breaking free. The room shook. The orbs inside the case dimmed one by one. Then everything went dark. When Eli opened his eyes again, he was on the rooftop. No fame, no phone, no posters, just him and the city, silent and endless. He whispered, "Was it all a dream?" A faint wind brushed his face, and somewhere deep in the night, a whisper answered, "No, it was the dream you sold." Eli gave back what he took, but in doing so, he erased himself. He had given them back their dreams, but in the process, he erased himself from the world. Eli Jordan didn't feel like himself anymore. After his confrontation with Mr. Vale, the stolen dreams, the songs, the voices, the echoes began to untangle from the world. He could feel it inside him, a hollow emptiness where music had once lived. He climbed the fire escape one last time, chest tight with exhaustion, lungs burning. The city looked peaceful, unaware of the unseen weight it carried, unaware of the lives that had been stolen from it. He whispered to the wind, soft and broken, "I hope it's enough." Every note he had sung, every song he had created, had been borrowed. Now it was time to return it all and disappear in the process. Eli closed his eyes and hummed. Slowly, the familiar melodies, the ones that had made the world cry, cheer, and hope, began to pour from him, not through speakers, not through phones, not even through microphones. They flowed into the night itself. Each song returned to its rightful owner. A painter picked up a brush again, feeling the colors like sunlight on her skin. A child started dancing in her room, humming a melody she thought she'd lost forever. A man opened a notebook and began writing stories he'd abandoned years ago. The city stirred with life. Dreams long forgotten, now breathing once more. And Eli felt nothing. The magic, the music, the fame, all draining from him, leaving only a hollow echo. He opened his eyes. The glowing music note on his wrist was gone. His hands shook. His reflection in the glass building across the street was fading, blurry, unreal. He had become the song everyone remembered, but no one remembered the singer. People rushed outside, noticing the sudden clarity in their hearts, the spark they had thought lost. No one knew why they felt inspired, hopeful, or creative again, only that something beautiful had returned to them. Eli looked at the rooftops, at the streets, at the city that had adored him, and then he faded. No trace of the viral star remained. His apartment was empty, his phone dead. The world forgot the boy who had once sung for them, but the songs lived on eternal, bright, free. The boy who sold his dreams had given them back. But some dreams are too precious to own alone. Eli's sacrifice restored others' creativity and hope, but in doing so, he erased his own existence from memory. True dreams are not meant to be sold. Their value is in living them, not trading them for fame or recognition. Fame is intoxicating, but regret is louder. Although the world had regained their dreams, Eli felt the weight of emptiness pressing on him. No one remembered him. No one thanked him. The fame he once had the applause, the thousands of fans, all gone, erased like chalk on a blackboard. He wandered the streets like a ghost, invisible and unheard. Every note he hummed, every word he whispered, echoed in his own chest, but never reached anyone else. Eli realized the truth. The world didn't need him. They only needed the dream he had given back. He tried to recreate a song, but the music was hollow, devoid of life. He remembered Mr. Vale's words, "Every success, Eli, is just another trade." And he understood now. The first trade wasn't just fame, it was a warning. Every dream has its cost, and Eli had paid it all. He had returned their dreams. But what remained of him was only regret. At night, Eli would sometimes hear whispers, soft, far away, like the wind carrying fragments of the lives he had restored. "Thank you. I feel alive again." But as quickly as they came, the voices vanished. He realized he was a spectator in a world that once worshipped him, forced to watch life carry on without recognition. Eli's reflection in puddles and glass showed only a boy who had given everything and gained nothing. He saved the world's dreams, but at the cost of his own place in it. Kindly subscribe to watch more.